I've been in the room for many historic moments, but what I'm about to tell you comes from the very heart of the crisis we are witnessing this January 2026. President Trump just picked up the phone and called Governor Tim Walz directly. This wasn't a chat about policy, it was an ultimatum. The tragedy we saw in Minneapolis on Saturday, the death of Alex Pretti, following the loss of Renee Good, didn't happen in a vacuum. It was the direct result of what Karoline Leavitt just called deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders. For weeks, Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey have been fueling the fire. They've called our federal agents invaders, while these men and women were in Minnesota for Operation Metro Surge to remove dangerous threats. They've encouraged agitators to obstruct federal agents, and on Saturday, that incitement turned into a confrontation that left an American citizen dead. Trump told Walz today, "The chaos ends now." He laid out a three-point ultimatum to restore order. Number 1, stop blocking ICE. Number 2, local police must cooperate on all detainers. Number 3, end the sanctuary rhetoric that incites these mobs. The president was clear. If Walz and Frey allow our patriots to do their jobs, the need for this massive federal footprint on the streets of Minneapolis vanishes. We want cops to be cops. We want the brave officers in Minnesota to assist in removing the 12,000 criminal illegal aliens the administration has identified in that state alone. But make no mistake, if the resistance continues, Trump is ready to use every tool at his disposal, including the Insurrection Act. He's not asking for permission anymore. He's demanding accountability for the insurrection. He says Walz and Frey are inciting against federal law. Let's talk about the sanctuary myth. For years, cities like Minneapolis have marketed themselves as safe havens. But safe for whom? Not for the families who have seen their neighborhoods turned into war zones, because local leaders refuse to pick up the phone when ICE calls. Karoline Leavitt was fiery in the briefing room today, reminding the press that while they obsess over federal tactics, they ignore the human cost of sanctuary policies. She pointed to cases across the country where criminals protected by these laws went on to commit horrific acts. Inside the West Wing, we are done with the excuses. Trump just announced that starting February 1, 2026, the federal government will cease all payments to sanctuary cities and states. If you want to protect criminals who have no right to be here, you're going to do it on your own dime. We're not going to send taxpayer dollars to jurisdictions that treat federal agents like enemies. This is the congressional hammer move to defund the resistance and force cooperation. The media wants you to think this is radical, but the truth is, most Americans want a border. They want their police to work with federal agents to keep the peace. By letting cops be cops, we are removing the political handcuffs that Walz and Frey have slapped on local law enforcement. We're given the green light to clean up the streets. In Trump's 2026, the law isn't a suggestion, and sanctuary is a word that belongs in a church, not a city hall protecting fugitives. This is the bottom line. The president's call to Walz this morning was the final olive branch before the hammer drops. Trump wants a peaceful resolution. He wants the state to partner on targeted enforcement instead of this random aggressive confrontation that the far left is causing. But he is also a man who won a mandate to secure this country, and he is not backing down. The hostile defiance we saw this weekend led to a tragedy. The president has accused Walz and Frey of inciting insurrection with their rhetoric. They chose a path of confrontation over a path of cooperation, and now the city is paying the price. Trump has offered the way out. Pull back the resistance. Let the agents do their work, and the surge subsides. If the governor refuses, the federal footprint only gets bigger. We will not allow our officers to be hunted by mobs or smeared as Nazis by sitting politicians. The resistance is failing because it's built on a lie that you can have a country without a border. As JD Vance, I've seen the data. The people are with us. They want safety, they want order, and they want the truth. And the truth is, the sanctuary era in America is officially coming to an end. The question for Tim Walz is simple. Do you want to be part of the solution or the face of the crisis? I've spent the last 48 hours inside the West Wing, and the atmosphere has shifted. The shooting of Alex Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA, a man who spent his life caring for our veterans, has hit this administration hard. I've seen the president's face as he watched the footage from this past Saturday, January 24th. Regardless of what the headlines say, nobody in this building wants to see American blood on American streets. That's why, on Monday morning, the president did something that has the resistance reeling. He picked up the phone and called Tim Walz. Karoline Leavitt revealed the heart of that call today, January 26, 2026. It wasn't a call for war, it was an offer for an off-ramp. Trump told Walz, "Nobody wants to see people dying in our streets." He offered a deal. If Minnesota starts a basic level of cooperation and identifies the criminals in their possession, Trump will look into reducing the number of federal agents currently surged in the state. This is the peace treaty offer. He's telling Walz that the Operation Metro surge won't be needed if the state just complies with federal law. This is the moment the country has been praying for. Trump even made a major concession. He agreed to let the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension conduct its own independent investigation into Alex Pretti's death. He's opening the door to transparency because he knows that without trust, there is no order. I've heard the president say privately that he wants to be the peacemaker. He's sending border czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis right now to be the main point of contact on the ground. The question is, will Walz take the hand that's been extended, or will he let the radical activists keep pushing Minnesota into the abyss? Let's talk about Alex Pretti. He wasn't a would-be assassin, as some early heated rhetoric suggested. He was a caregiver. But here is the glitch in the system that we have to confront. Pretti was a lawful gun owner with a state permit. Video shows agents wrestling him to the ground and discovering a firearm in his waistband before the shots were fired. As JD Vance, I believe in law and order, but I also believe in the Second Amendment. The president is deeply concerned that the climate of hostility created by local politicians has put both federal agents and innocent citizens in a kill or be killed mindset. Trump's offer to Walz is an admission that the current path of hostile defiance is unsustainable. He wants to honor Pretti's memory, not with more protests, but with a solution. He told Walz that we can't have cops fighting cops. If the state cooperates on the 12,000 criminal aliens identified in Minnesota, the agents don't have to be on every street corner. This tragedy must be the catalyst for a return to common sense. We're looking at the human cost of the sanctuary struggle, first Renee Good, now Alex Pretti, and it is far too high. The president has promised that the facts will lead the way, not the politics, and he's reviewing everything. We are at a crossroads. The resistance in Minnesota has led us to a place of mourning. But today, the president offered a way back. He didn't invoke the Insurrection Act. He sent a message of de-escalation. He sent Tom Homan to the Twin Cities with a mandate to negotiate, not to conquer. This is the moment where we find out if Tim Walz is a governor or just an activist. If Walz accepts the offer, the surge begins to fade. The agents go home. The state police lead the investigations, and the criminal aliens, the real threats, are removed without further violence. But if he refuses, if he continues to use the deaths of citizens as a political shield for sanctuary policies, then the tragedy will only deepen. Trump has done his part. He has made the secret offer. He has shown that even in the middle of a historic crackdown, he values American life. The verdict of the people is already clear. They want safe streets, and they want the law to be followed. They don't want to see their neighbors killed in the crossfire of a political war. As I told the president after his call with Walz, a leader knows when to strike, but a statesman knows when to heal. Today, Donald Trump chose to be a statesman. Now, we wait to see if the resistance has the courage to do the same. The streets of Minneapolis are quiet tonight, waiting for an answer. Let's hope it's the right one.